Welcome to Inside Sim Racing. I'm Billy Strange, and this is a two-wheeled edition of Test Drive. We are checking out MXGP2 on the PC, so thanks to Milestone for sending us a copy. Take off the line here. You saw the third-person view. That view is adjustable. We are now in the first-person view, which I find much more intuitive. This is at the Italy track, and I am playing with an Xbox One controller. There are plenty of adjustments to make, not super in-depth as far as the bike setup goes. That sound means I didn't land right. You can change the preload, which essentially changes your ride height. You can change compression and rebound and spring stiffness. And then you can also change gear ratio, but it's only low, medium, and high. Would have liked to seen a little more in depth for the gear ratio there, but not bad. As I said, this is the career mode. This is the wild card race number 1 in Italy. We were running 250s, and I'm on a Suzuki. Whoops. Kind of gave that guy... There is going to be bumping here. It's kind of hard to avoid, but I feel like they kind of got pretty good about how much you can bump versus, you know, how much is too much and it'll knock you over. Does a pretty good job of translating what it feels like to get in a rut. And I have, you know, in first-person view, I have a pretty good spatial awareness of the attitude of my bike, which is pretty interesting. I think it's pretty hard to pull off a first-person view with something like this, but they also did it with the MotoGP games, which I enjoyed. So, coming into lap 2 here, you can hear us beating and banging handlebars just a little bit, and, yep, it called me a cheater. It said I was a cheater. So the game, as I decide to get a close-up look at the Monster Energy banner, MXGP2 gets really sensitive in certain spots about you cutting the track, which is not actually cutting the track. You know, when you cut across a corner, that's one thing, but when you're exiting a corner and you kind of go over the berm, I don't think that's cutting, but apparently they do. There we go, dive on the inside. And the only change I made to the bike was I lowered, changed the preload so it lowered the front end just a little bit, gave me a little bit better steering on throttle. Oops. Couple oopses there. This part's really cool. A single to a double. This is not an easy game by any means. And the bike, you can land wrong and the bike will take off in a bunch of different directions. And I'm using the medium physics mode, which means I am controlling, I've got it so where I control the rider's attitude forward, back, and side to side, which I probably give him a little too much body English going through the turns, but it does seem to make a difference. I am not controlling each brake individually. I've got enough going on with controlling the rider as we enter lap 3. Banging handlebars. And I tried shifting and doing like the front and rear brake, and see, it said I cheat. I'm a big cheater apparently. Cheater, cheater, cheater. Trying to get it so where you're moving the rider correctly and downshift and upshift. Like, I feel like I don't have enough fingers or thumbs capable of doing that, so I just kind of picked what I wanted to. AI difficulty is on medium, and I enjoy really moving the rider around and trying to find a berm or a rut, because you can feel it. You can feel it when the bike gets in a rut, or you can feel if you go into a turn and try to catch the berm coming off. It does give you a good sense of traction. Sounds are okay. I'm getting decent frame rate. I've got everything at the default, which I think was high, without anti-aliasing, because that's what it came up with. And I'm getting, 60 frames a second. Never dips below really about 54. So decent performance is kind of typical of a milestone game. And we're coming up to the finish. We're going to get second. Alright. And actually, I'm having a lot of fun with the game. It can be frustrating at times, but typically that's just me being over-anxious, over the top and trying to make a turn or a pass instead of being patient. And now you can see the replays. And it's not bad. You know, this replays are kind of hard to do with motorcycle games because it's kind of like, you know, once again, you're using a controller, so it's kind of like watching a car, and they can get kind of twitchy when you're using a controller. The same thing here. It's so hard to smooth out the rider, but you know, it does a decent job. And like I said, I'm having fun with the game. It actually is a really good time. I enjoy getting through the turns and learning the tracks. So this was the, I didn't mention it before, this was the second moto. The first moto I finished like 13th. I qualified 10th and finished 13th. And then this one I finished second because I kind of got the hang of it. And I would just rip them through that turn. Definitely a fun game. If you're a two-wheel, you know, motocross fan, I think there's even some supercross style stadium tracks in here as well, but that's not what I've started out with. It's more the outdoor stuff, so, you know, I like it. It's fun. And from the community, RTA Motorsports comments on a dirt rally video that he's still playing it here and he still loves it. And I agree. I am having an excellent time on the PS4 with Dirt Rally, even though there's, you know, some graphical fidelity that's a little better on the PC. I'm not itching to go back to it. PS4 is working just fine at the moment, and I'm having just a ton of fun with it. So, I'm right there with you, RTA. And if you want to be a part of the community, you can leave a comment below just like RTA did. It can be a suggestion for our test drive series, whether it be car, track and or sim, or even motorcycle for that matter. Go ahead and leave a comment and just let us know. Even if you're playing MXGP2, I'd like to know that as well. And how you like it or if you don't like it. I always read it. I'm always curious to see what people think. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I will catch you guys in the next video, and take care.